Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Has anyone heard from you/groundbreaking Ty 30? His story broke my heart and I tried to reach out to him for an update and to check on him, but he never responded. His story was one of the worst I've read on here. Progress. I just wanted to check on him to make sure he is okay. I think I would be suicidal if I was in his shoes and I kinda feared the worst for him. If you are unfamiliar with the post, here it is. Part of me fears the worst and part of me wants to see if someone can even come back from that. Any info about his condition would be greatly appreciated. I've been waiting for an update as well. His story is truly heartbreaking. In his last comment 8 months ago, he says that a few things are happening and that he will update soon. The update was 10 months ago. I guess we will get a 1-year update. Wow. Hoping for the best. Keep us posted. If he is looking at putting this whole thing behind him, and I hope that he has, then I doubt that he will ever come back here or use that Reddit account again. Putting things behind him will mean never revisiting this again. Hopefully he is doing well and is living his life again. I really hope he is. I check for a new post or comment from him daily. A couple months back I sent him a private/direct message asking if he was still planning to post a future update. I asked him at that time if he could post a simple comment stating if he still intended to do a future update, or if he had decided not to. He never responded, so I guess we just have to wait and see if he decides to post an update at some point. At this point I suspect that his next update will include the sex of his ex/SDBX's child. That last sentence broke my heart. Duck his former best friend man. Scum of the earth. Wife is planning to leave me/has left me for my best friend and they've already started trying to get pregnant. Advice. I guess I should call him my former best friend at this point, but it's hard to accept it's all gone just like that. You spend so many years with a person building a relationship, and one day it all turns to dust. I've known him since high school, 15 years ago. He was like a brother to me and like a son to my parents. When we were younger we were at each other's houses all the time. He was always coming with my family on trips and I did the same with his family. We've done so much together. He was the best man at my wedding and I would have been the best man at his wedding. Many trips and nights spent out together. Many times we helped each other. Many conversations about life, love and ourselves. He was always my go-to person in tight situations and when I needed advice. It's hard to say how much losing him hurts, because for whatever else he is, he was always there for me when I needed him and a solid source of advice. He was a true friend, until he wasn't. It may be as big of a blow to lose him as losing my wife. I've been married to my wife for almost 5 years, but we've been together for 7. I remember when we first met. Love at first sight. She was gorgeous and had these really piercing blue eyes and a really infectious laugh. We hit it off and to my surprise she accepted when I asked her out even though I felt like she was out of my league. I fell even more in love with her as we got to know each other. She had such a passion for life and helping people. She was so kind and gentle with everyone, just a really warm person, and that made me love her more. I loved being married to her, and I always felt our marriage was great, not even just good. I was not one of those husbands that let himself go. I took care of myself and ate well. I remembered all of our anniversaries and special dates. When she talked to me I listened and paid attention. I took an interest in her life genuinely because I loved her and it was important to me, but I also gave her space and avoided being too needy or clingy. I made sure to do my part around the house. I cleaned as much as she did. Our sex life was great, as far as I could tell. I did my best to love her and care for her the way a husband should and show her she was appreciated. I tried my best to keep dating her after we married. I can say without any doubt that I never took her for granted. I don't know what else I could have done. I have asked myself that over and over again, and I still don't know. I wonder if I did too much. Did she think I was too much of a pushover? Did she not respect me? I'm not saying our marriage was perfect. We did have arguments, but they were never major ones. The trouble started when my best friend broke up with his girlfriend. He was pretty upset about it and took it hard. I talked to him, but my wife asked me one day if I cared if she went out for a coffee with him to talk and give him a woman's view/opinion. I told her that was fine with me. She and my best friend were also friends. We'd done couples trips with my friend and his girlfriend, and she'd also hung out with him tons because he was around me so much. I didn't think anything of it because their relationship never seemed inappropriate. I do remember him saying I was lucky and she was attractive when we first started dating and when I married her, but there were no inappropriate jokes or anything like that. My wife might have said he was handsome at some point, but that was it. I saw no red flags, and even after thinking about it more, I still don't see any. I never saw anything which made me think there was every chance of them being more than friends. When my wife came back from coffee, she seemed a bit off. She was really angry with his ex and said that he deserved better. I remember telling her something like he's young and he'll mend in time, and she seemed very upset by this. She said that he needed time and that whatever girl ended up with him would be very lucky and his ex was a fool to leave him. I may be misremembering parts of that conversation, but that was the basic gist. She was very sparse on details and very vague. But it didn't seem weird to me at that time. It seemed like she was being protective the same way I would be protective of him as my friend. Her behavior started getting stranger after that night. She wasn't doing anything really overt or suspicious, but she was vague about what she was doing. She would say that she's going to see one of her friends or to run an errand. Stuff like that. I'm not a controlling person and she'd never given me a reason to doubt her, so I didn't make an issue out of it. And really at that time I didn't find it so strange. I noticed my friend was being weird too, but I thought it was because of his split and him being depressed. I would invite him to hang out, and he'd turn me down, which was unusual. He never had a reason other than he was busy. I started seeing less and less of him, and when I did see him he was different. I would not say nervous, but definitely seemed not to be comfortable. He sent me a message asking me to stop by his house one day. He said we needed to talk about some things and he had to get some stuff off his chest. I drove over there not suspecting anything. I knocked on the door and he came to answer. I tried to make some jokes and light conversation, and he completely ignored me. He asked me to go into the living room and there was my wife sitting on his couch. I don't know if I knew at that moment, but I did feel a sense of dread start to come over me. She started crying almost as soon as I walked in, and he jumped right in and told me that there was no easy way to say what he was about to say, but he and my wife were in love and wanted to be together. I stood there completely stunned. I felt like I wasn't even alive for a while. When I started to come back to my senses, they both tried to say how sorry they were and that they both loved me and regret it happening. They told me that this just happened and they never intended for things to turn out like this. They knew they were wrong, but it didn't matter because they were in love. They both promised that they had not had sex and it was only an emotional affair. I'm not sure if that is true or not, but I don't know if it really matters. And that is basically where we are now. Since that day I've gotten more texts from them apologizing and ones from my wife asking if I'm okay and telling me she's here for me and still cares for me, but I mostly ignore them. They aren't as frequent anymore either. She decided to move out of our house. I didn't ask her where she was going, but a friend of mine told me that she moved in with my former friend as soon as she left. That was only a few months ago. She stopped by the house a few days ago to pick up some things. I tried to avoid her, but then she asked me if I had a second. She told me that she and my former friend are trying to get pregnant. She wanted to give me a heads up so that we can deal with it as we go through our divorce. She also wanted to tell me personally because she felt like I deserved to know and hear it from her. It hurt so much to hear how she's already moving on. We wanted to have children together, but she wanted to wait until she turned 30. Now he's going to get to be the father to her children and I'm going to have to watch her carry his child. I am here looking for any advice you can give me. I don't know how to deal with her getting pregnant. I feel like that's going to be a struggle and source of pain once it happens. I feel so jealous of him because he is getting the life I wanted with her. I also know that her getting pregnant is really the end. Once that happens, there's no chance we could reconcile. I have considered asking her to try counseling, but I haven't because I doubt she would be interested since she wants him and a life together with him. I also don't know how to process all of this. I don't know how they could both do something like this or how I could not see it. I don't understand why she left when we were happy. I feel like I don't believe in anything anymore. If you can't trust your wife and best friend and a marriage doesn't last with as much effort as I put in, then nothing is real and life is all one big lie. Life just isn't fair sometimes. Edit, a typo. Update. First of all, I want to thank everyone who commented and everyone who sent me messages of support. The last few days have been the best I've had since my wife left. I feel like I'm at least able now to think of what comes next. I really don't know how to thank you all, but just know that the support I've gotten has helped. I don't have much of an update, but I thought you guys deserved to know about a few things. I decided I am going to message my former friend's ex to see what her version of the breakup is. Nothing may come of it, but I think I have to at least see if I can find out anything else. I had talked to one attorney but haven't really gotten serious about a lawyer. Next week I will start a serious look for one. My friends and family have given me some recommendations, so I will go through their list. I don't know when I will start it, but I'm pretty sure I'll enroll in some type of counseling. I don't feel like my mental state right now is very good, and I don't think I have the tools to pull myself out of this. I need help. I am thinking of writing to my wife and ex-friend. A lot of you asked me why I didn't do anything to him when they told me, and that bothered me because I realized I never took the change to tell them how I feel and how they've hurt me. I feel like they need to know even if they don't care. There were a lot of other suggestions about things to do to help deal with the situation. I'm going to make some changes around my house to try and make things more comfortable here until I can move. I will also try to keep myself busy, but in reality the hard part so far has been nights when I am alone and it is quiet like now. You need to accept the fact that your wife is a very calculating and deceptive person. They did all of this behind your back and she kept you in the dark while they started their relationship. Her feelings for you were long gone before they dumped this on you. Your friend is trash and don't buy into any nonsense of checking up on you, caring for you or being there for you. That is so pathetic and disingenuous that it is sickening. Telling you about her plans to get pregnant with him was not her being considerate, it was her trying to do some type of damage control. But it does tell you to get your legal affairs in order and push the divorce ahead as fast as possible to avoid potential paternity issues in the future and get these two snakes out of your life. You also need to make everyone in your family and friends aware of exactly what these two have done. The best thing you should do is never have any contact with your friend again at all. Make your ex aware that other than topics concerning the divorce you will discuss nothing else and that there will be no friendship or small talk. Avoid any place that they may be and keep things strictly business and let your attorney deal with her as much as possible. Make it a point get everything that belongs to her out of your residence ASAP and then go as hard no contact as you can. Block them on everything. Get yourself into therapy so that you can rebuild your self-esteem, heal and move on to build a fulfilling life for yourself. It is a blessing that you did not have kids with this woman. You need to take care of yourself. Eat right, exercise and get good sleep. Reach out and know that you are not alone. I am pulling for you. I am not disagreeing at all with you, but it's so hard for me to think that about her. I never saw her act that way with anyone. She was always kind and genuine with people. At the same time, you're right. It would seem foolish to think that everything just happened as they say. I just don't know what happened. Even to the end I felt like we were great together. There's no moment I can think of where I'd say she stopped loving me. I want to ask her so badly to try and make sense of all this. I could maybe make peace with it if she told me she stopped loving me, when and why. I don't buy what they say either. I think they just feel guilty. All of your suggestions make sense. I may need to avoid them as much as possible to avoid causing more pain. I have told my family and some of our mutual friends what happened. Most have been really supportive. A couple didn't want to get involved or take sides. I am sorry you are going through this. But you have got to forget what you thought she was. They have both shown you exactly who they are, and do not give them credit for having guilt. They do not, they are just saying what would be perceived as being good or nice. There is nothing good or nice about what they did. The reason you cannot figure out why this happened or saw no signs is because they both intentionally kept you in the dark. That is why it is so difficult for you to grasp this. They snowed you and then dumped this on you under the pretense of trying to be adult about it. That is part of the deception that has occurred, and they are continuing to make this as easy for them as possible. They are selfish and you are just something that they have to deal with in the meantime. You cannot give them credit or a pass on any of this. You have to fill yourself with resolve and think of yourself. They certainly are not. As far as your mutual friends, the ones that are supportive, keep them. The rest can be no more than casual acquaintances. One other piece of advice. Please do not pain shop by trying to keep up with what they are doing or asking others about them. It will only continue the pain. Your closure has already been provided in a very cruel way. They had their ducks in a row before they broke this to you. Focus on getting yours in line now. You are already having to play catch up. I want to ask her so badly to try and make sense of all this. I could maybe make peace with it if she told me she stopped loving me, when and why. If you asked her, would you even believe her answer though? She's proven that she's a liar and you can't trust her. You're going to have to make peace with it on your own. And I'm sorry for that. It's going to be incredibly difficult, but you will make it through. Please don't let this awful experience define the rest of your life. Duck your ex and duck your ex-friend. They don't deserve to control your future happiness. It'll take strength and courage to move forward, but I know you can do it. Your amazing future wife and wonderful children are counting on you. Joined Reddit to tell you this: there is no absolution in their answers, because the fault was never yours to begin with. The fault here is that your STBXW and ex-friend decided to put their petty wants above your needs. Know that you didn't do this, and that you didn't deserve this. While you are hurting and lost now, every day will put this further behind you, and, in time, you will heal. Your task now is to make yourself an even better version of what you were. Get some counseling, eat right, get plenty of sleep, hit the gym, take a long break from dating and rebuild your identity. Maybe now is a time to level up in education or at your work. Cut the exes out of your life, go hard no contact. Their relationship is already on a path to failure, because it involves two damaged people, and is built on a foundation of lies, secrecy and infidelity. When she comes back, you have to be ready to tell her no. Do not take her back. She would just be looking at you as a plan B, and she would cheat on you again. We've been there, and we know what the pain is like, but we also know how the recovery unfolds too. We're here for you. So reach out if you need us. Stay strong and good luck. Beware the friends who decide they won't take sides. If they are okay with hanging out with people who would do that, then you should cut them off. Look into moving if at all possible and go full no contact. You are a strong man, cause I'll be honest, I would have went straight to violence with my ex-friend. You are a strong man, cause I'll be honest, I would have went straight to violence with my ex-friend. I'd be in jail right now. I gotta be honest with you, man, I started crying as I read this. I'm a 25-year-old man who's crying because it hurts to see someone else go through the same thing I had to endure. Last year, I found out my girlfriend of 4 years was cheating on me with my best friend of 16 years. That man was my brother since the first day of school. And then he chose to do this to me. I was in a real dark place after it happened, and I can only assume you are in one as well. It was even worse when they started dating a week later, though that relationship crashed and burned quickly. But I will tell you, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I plead for you, once the divorce is finalized, block her on everything. Phone, email, social media, anything that she can use to get to you. You should have already done this with your ex-best friend. For me, my ex-best friend and ex-girlfriend are dead to me. I haven't heard from them in probably 18 months, and I'm doing so well right now. I'm healthy, have a good job, have a great relationship with family and the people who actually care about me. I'm still not ready to date, but that's okay. I know that there's a woman out there that will be better than my ex. And it's the same with you, buddy. Remember, it's okay to cry and to get therapy. Believe me, therapy works wonders and can speed up the process of getting back to 100%. You're gonna be alright, man. Just give it some time. That is probably the way to do it. It's hard because these moves make me feel like I am burying our relationship. They say that people have 3 deaths: when they die, when they are buried, and when their name is last spoken. I feel like relationships are that way. She's already moved out and has a new man. Divorce seems inevitable. Contact is all that I have left of us. I know I need to cut it and let it go, but as soon as I do, then our relationship is officially and totally dead. There is also a part of me that tells myself not to, because what if she changes her mind and tries to reach out but can't? I would never know. You know what? The relationship being dead is what needs to happen. Let it become nothing and then it can't hurt you. And I don't know, man, but I think we both know there's no coming back from this. Cheating with your spouse's best friend or family member is a death sentence. Few relationships come back from that. You're gonna be a statistic, not an anomaly. Stay strong, man. You should never consider taking either of them back into your life. They are both terrible people. If they really cared about you, you would not be here. Relationships that start as affairs rarely work out. They will both probably try to come back afterwards if that happens. A lot of their niceness is probably trying to do damage control for shared acquaintances. I know if one of my friends did something like this to someone in our group, they would lose everyone. He is a worse person than your wife in my opinion, and she is disgusting for this. Don't let them back in ever. You win by moving on from the both of them to a better life. There is a woman out there worthy of your love, and you will find her. Get a lawyer and get ahead of this. Clean them out. Focus on being your best self. Stay strong and win in the end. I feel for you, but I think in the long run you will have a better life than them. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If you reconcile with her, that will always be on your mind. Is she cheating? The person she's going to lunch with, are they cheating? She's going to the store, is she meeting up and cheating? No need to put yourself through that torture. It came easy for them to do this, it will come easy for them to do it again on each other. Do not allow her to control the situation. Do not allow her to talk you into seeing her. Do not allow her to take time from you to talk. Do not allow her to tell you she loves you. Do not allow yourself to fall back into this trap. You're better than that, you just have to see it for yourself. When my ex started acting weird in 2008, I was getting accused of cheating on here with someone 7 states away. I don't travel for work, I didn't chat or talk to them or anything, it was just some random person I was being accused of. Come to find out, she was cheating with one of her clients, and I found pictures online. Fiancé I was going to marry last year claimed a lot of things as my ex. She had several email accounts and would delete a lot of emails. I called her a few days before we were to move in together and found out she moved a few states away with someone else. Later it dawned on me that she cared more about the financial situation than of me. I did discover that she went through financials, reviewed pay letters and such. The hurt takes time to heal. I cried and felt so much betrayal, and I was letting things become tough for me. I overcame going deeper into that space, and exactly a year later, I've moved and purchased a home on my own. Hang in there. I know it's tough and we're all here for you when we're needed. If you ever want to chat, send me a message and I can be the eyes to read the words you write to release the frustration. I can also be the ears needed to help get the words out with no judgment, as I've been there where you're going. Occupy yourself with something productive, cut all communication from both and emotionally detach yourself from them. 6. Not your fault, man. Another comment said she planned this a while ago. I would agree. You can't be around them anymore, man. No contact. Are you going to congratulate them once she's knocked up? Be the best man at their wedding? Hell no. Easy for me to say, obviously. The foundation of their relationship is not very stable. This will cause uncomfortable conversations with people. He will eventually need a friend like you, but you won't be there. Your family will no longer care for him. Their reputations will be tarnished and you'll be free to pursue whatever you want. Work out, lift some weights. Works for me. You'll be fine, dude. Given time. It would be painful to go through all of that. I just can't. Yeah. I need to take up a hobby or do something to distract myself. Worst part is that things are the lowest when I am in bed at night. Nothing to distract me. Just laying there and thinking about this over and over again. Replaying conversations and saying what if. Or dude, I feel for you. It's not your fault. It really isn't. Nothing you could have done. Don't go on the booze though. That never helps. The replaying of conversations and the what ifs will subside after a while. You need to concentrate on yourself now. Forget reconciliation. Reconnect with some old friends, family, etc. I wish I had something more helpful to say, man, I really do. Oh, did I say about lifting weights, exercise, etc.? To know if I mentioned that. Great way to vent anger. If you're going to get angry, you might as well get fit and look good. Channel it productively. Instead of punching walls. Nothing like a broken knuckle to take your mind off the situation. I do not advise this course of action. I'm rambling now. Excuse me. I guess I will exercise more. I work out 6 days a week, so I may just extend my workouts to get out the nerves. 6 days, oh well, there you go. You're on the right track already. Keep the chin up, buddy. It's all temporary. Try and stay strong, man. I run and have been trying to increase my mileage. I guess this is as good of a time as any. When my ex-wife blew up my marriage, in addition to exorcising, taking care of the kids and my job, I became an organized and clean freak. I made a daily task chart and along with the things my attorney advised, I kept myself busy. It kept me in the moment, and in addition to helping the time pass productively, I was tired at night and got more sleep. The idle time and the things that reminded me of her were killers. But it got easier as time passed. Not seeing or hearing from her was very important. For a while any contact with her would set me back. You have an advantage over me by not having kids with her. That has been a struggle for me too. When you are with someone so long, so many things hold memories. Her stuff is gone now other than what she didn't want, but I still have our photos. I also still am here in this space that has so many memories. It's hard not to think about something and I can almost hear her laugh. I have no even been sleeping in our bed. It doesn't feel right. I have moved out of our bedroom into our guest room. I just can't be there without thinking of her and how much I would give to see her walk through the door. I feel you. My daughter was 3 at the time and the only way I could get her to sleep was to put her in my bed with me. I would prefer to have been on the couch, but would instead lay there beside my daughter, wide awake, and filled with rage at my ex. For having done that to us. It is grief and a certain amount of emotional trauma. I would take the kids and go stay with my parents some nights just to get out of the house and away from the memories. There is no shame in turning to your family now. Destroy the photos, they will only bring you pain. Dump whatever belongings she left behind. Consider moving away and starting fresh. I chose this course and my cheating ex-wife is nothing but a faded memory. If you intend to stay, then remodel the home. Leave no room untouched. Something that helped me, listening to guided meditations at night. Get in bed, put on headphones, and listen. Follow along with what they're saying. Pull yourself into the moment, into what you're feeling, be there with yourself and your thoughts and the guidance coming through the headphones. I started with this one. These meditations don't avoid your difficult times, they acknowledge them, honor them, and, over time, give you a platform for understanding them and putting them in context with who you are, what's in your control, what's out of your control. There's so much validity in what you're feeling right now, man. Dang, I wish I were better at being a consoling voice. There's genuine wisdom in the overall advice that the way to get past the pain is to go through it. At some point, your pain won't be the hour hurts that you're probably feeling right now. It'll become I remember the hour hurts but I don't feel it eating me up every moment. Something like that. I still listen to these meditations. And, honestly, a big part of it is that this dude's voice makes you feel like a calm, wise old man is giving you a hug and saying, there, my man, I hear you. I get you. Let's walk through this, okay? I think I will have to start doing something to get more sleep. It also has been hard not having her next to me. I miss her body next to me. Yes, and a time will come where you will start to become desperate for affection. You just gotta stay strong and get over the humps. Be self-aware. Realize when your desperation could lead to bad choices, and find a way to distract yourself and let more time pass. As cliche as it sounds, time really is the answer. You are young and fit and have the world ahead of you. I think you gotta consider that people here don't suggest going no contact lightly. I understand how hard that seems, how impossible it seems to truly never see, hear or talk about anything related to either of them ever again. But you can do it. And you really have to get past this, to not wallow in despair and to instead get on the path to healing. This has happened. You can't control that. But you can control your path out of it. Sell the house, destroy the pictures, make it clear to everyone that you do not want to hear or talk about either of them. I'm talking straight about Voldemort here. Change phone number. Delete social media, you don't need it right now. Move away, even if it's just a different neighborhood in the same city, and be selective who you tell your new address. If you can truly go no contact, I mean push through the divorce and truly duck and dip, give it 2 years of healing and self-care and getting through the receding waves of pain, and I'd bet money you will come out on top of all this. Success is the best revenge. You may always carry resentment towards them, because no one should be treated this way, and they deserve to hurt for what they did. But the best way to succeed is to get closer to a place where you truly don't give a duck about either of them. It'll take work to get there. But that has to be your goal. As much as I hate to agree, I agree with the notion of destroying the pictures. You should see a therapist for yourself. From everything you've said, your wife clearly thought this out and planned this. It's not a mistake, accident or whim. I'm not sure why you think reconciliation is a possibility. A therapist will help you sort out your feelings and move on. I don't want to believe she did, but that makes more sense than things that just happened. I don't believe she would consider it, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have fantasies about her coming back and us starting over. The way you feel is understandable, but I don't think it's based in reality. People wish things could be different in their lives, but can't make sound decisions based on a skewed view of reality. I think a therapist may help you to separate what is, what can be, and what is just fantasy. I know deep down it isn't reasonable and I will have to accept that at some point. I probably will end up in therapy before this is all over. Depending on your state you can sue for alienation of affection. I would look into that. I would go absolutely nuclear on them. This is so devastating to read. I'm really sorry you're going through this. I am in North Carolina. I think that is an option here. I feel like I am in some alternate reality right now, second guessing everything. I would go see an attorney. It's pretty cut and dry. I've heard of 7-figure judgments. I know it's so shocking to you now, but just go hear all your options. And I don't believe for a second when they said they hadn't had sex yet. That was a lie. Come to think of it, I remember reading a story a year or so ago about a man in my area who won a case for this. I want to believe they didn't, but my gut tells me they'd already been having sex by the time they told me what was happening. She's probably already pregnant. Which is why they are already trying. Which is why they had to come clean to him in the first place. Otherwise it probably would have went on longer behind his back. This is rough to come to realize, but yeah. I agree that this was a physical affair before it came to your attention, and it has been occurring for longer than you realize. I would go as far as saying that his ex-GF left because she probably found out about the affair. They certainly had sex before breaking the news to you. Judging by how scheming they were, they wanted to make sure they're compatible in bed and all before making the move. Seriously look into the alienation of affection. Show them some consequences for their betrayal. As to it just happened, I call bullshit. The story they are selling you is worth less than a warranty on toilet paper. I'm not sure if the lie's worse or the fact that they think I might believe it. I guess it shows how little respect they have for me. This. Well said. Very sad story, to be sure. But this post clarifies the path forward in a way that minimizes emotional attachment to the past, and maximizes the reality that a positive path forward is absolutely possible even if it doesn't feel like that today. Your STBX and XBF were in betrayal mode before she asked if it's okay with you for her to go have coffee with him. As much as you want to hang on to hope of reconciliation based on her coming to her senses, the fact is that she's been gone for a while. And her being okay with pregnancy already tells you that this is not something that just suddenly came up. Probably there was an emotional affair before the coffee, or she was looking towards it, and then after the coffee XBF is finally available. Update: wife is planning to leave me / has left me for my best friend and they've already started trying to get pregnant. Update: here is my original post. I want to thank you guys again for all of the messages of support you've sent and all of the advice. I never expected internet strangers to care that much about me or my situation, but it's done me a lot of good to be reminded of how kind and good people can be. I tried to respond to most of my messages, but even if I didn't, please know that I read them and it helped me to know that I had so much support. I also want to apologize to everyone for not updating sooner. I know I have been saying I would post an update for a few weeks, but every time I thought about it I just couldn't force myself to do it, but I'm in a good place to write it today. One of the things a lot of people recommended on the original was for me to contact my ex-friend's, just going to say F-freeze, ex-girlfriend, to see if she knew anything about his affair with my wife. I did contact her, but she confirmed F's story about the reasons for their breakup. I asked if she had noticed anything weird or had any reason to suspect he was involved at all with another woman before they split, and she said she didn't have any suspicions. I doubt she has any reason not to be honest with me, and she seemed genuinely shocked that they ended up together, so I believe her. In my first post I added an update about writing my F and wife a letter for closure. Most of you advised me not to do this. I decided to follow that advice. I wrote it for myself, but I didn't send it. I think you guys were right that it was better to not send it since they wouldn't care anyway. I finally chose an attorney to represent me a few weeks ago. He was someone that was recommended to me and I felt like I could trust him to protect me and make sure I came out of the divorce as whole as possible. I officially filed for divorce last week. That was a hard day, but I knew it had to happen. I won't say that there isn't still a part of me that fantasizes about her coming back and saying she made a mistake and wants to start over, but that's not realistic and I can't live my life based on a fantasy that will never happen. I think any boost I felt leading up to the filing was taken away by the filing and I have been feeling more depressed again. I looked into some personal counseling like you guys suggested, but I decided now was not the best time. I recently started a new project at work, and with some of the changes I've made in my life I've been staying busy, which helps. It will probably sound crazy to say this, but there is also a part of me that doesn't really want to feel better. I feel like this is how I should feel when my marriage is ending. about the alienation of affection suits. I decided not to pursue it. I know that most of you wanted me to do this, but my attorney told me that it wouldn't be easy and he couldn't guarantee anything. I just don't care about the money. Even if I had pursued it and won, it wouldn't have changed anything. And my main desire right now is to be done with this as soon as possible. I have decided to move away and start over once this is done, and I can't do that until my divorce wraps up. The only other interesting update I have is that after my wife got her papers, she contacted me asking if we could meet and talk. I haven't responded and don't know if I will. I don't feel like I have anything left to say to her, and I don't think she has anything to tell me that I want to hear. As far as what I've been doing, I've been running more. I've done some reading, tried yoga and some meditation. I liked yoga but not meditation so much. Work has been much busier, which is good. I thought about learning French, but I probably will put that on hold for now. I have some other projects I started for my hobbies. Took fishing up again. Just really trying to stay busy so I don't have as much time alone where my mind is idle. As far as what changes I've made around the house, I got rid of a lot of trinkets and things that reminded me of my wife. I did end up getting a body pillow for my bed, and as dumb as that seems, it helped me relax more. I am still staying in the guest room, but I may move back into the master soon. It doesn't matter much at this point. I still am not sleeping well and don't think changing rooms would make a difference. That's about it. I have been reading a lot more about failed relationships and through some of the sites that were recommended to me. I watched one video on YouTube that has helped me reframe the way I thought about our relationship. I won't link it since I don't know if that is okay, but the short version is that the man giving the talk says that if the person you were with moves on quickly from you, then they weren't really your one. I try now to think about my wife that way. I thought she was my one, but she never really was if she could do all of this. He also made some really good points about memories and accepting when someone you cared about becomes a memory. That's really all I have to say. Not a really happy or eventful update, but that's how it goes, I guess. The only other interesting update I have is that after my wife got her papers, she contacted me asking if we could meet and talk. You owe her nothing. Anytime you see her or hear anything about her, your internal heel clock will be set backwards. Most divorces can be handled completely via lawyer with no contact. Can yours do that? Your wife wants to see you to get closure and make herself feel better. She wants to say to herself, at least he seems okay. Deny her this balm. If you must text her back, just say you don't want to be around toxic people and you don't want betrayers in your life. Use that language, it's magic. It feels like that's probably what she wants, a chance to try and make herself feel like a less crappy person and to get some type of closure. It's just amazing to me after everything she has done that she would still feel entitled to that. I would definitely say that my mood has changed a lot. I don't feel as sad in the same way anymore, but I feel a lot more anger. Even just typing about her on here makes me really angry. I don't like feeling that way, but that is how I feel nonetheless. Just imagine the story they have to tell people about how they got together. If they tell the truth, nobody will let them within 500 feet of their loved ones. They will have to lie about who they are for their entire relationship. You, sir, a man of honor that tried to help out a friend in need and be a good husband, will never have to lie about who you are. They are beneath you, and you will realize this as you come out of this funk. Hang in there, friend, we're all pulling for you. You are a good man. You didn't deserve this, and I feel guilty in a way. I reread your post. And I am that guy you were talking about. I did let myself go. I do forget special days, yet my wife wouldn't cheat on me in a million years. She deserves more from me. Hopefully hearing your story will inspire me to do more. Things will turn around for you. In my case it didn't make a difference, so I don't know how much those things matter anyway. Man, you are being much stronger than I would be. And no, you owe her nothing, nothing. She will fall out of limerence and be shocked and destroyed by her own behavior. Really? Your best friend is so much better? No, he is not. You gave her your life. She will in fact come to regret her choices so incredibly much. But, that is too late. Stay your course. You will be stronger for this. It matters when the person you are with deserves it. You will be happy with someone else again. Do not throw that away. Give yourself time to heal, lean on friends and family. Allow yourself to be in another relationship when you are ready, do not deprive yourself of that. You may not feel like it now, but give yourself some time. You cannot pass judgment on everyone because of two people in your life that betrayed you. Oh, and BTW, I believe they are pregnant already. She only mentioned them trying because it already happened and they want you to believe they did not have sex before telling you. In fact, her being pregnant may have been the catalyst that made them decide to pursue a future together, because she got pregnant. Otherwise, they would probably still be sneaking around behind your back. I sort of enjoyed my anger phase. It was much better than what came before and after. It's just amazing to me after everything she has done that she would still feel entitled to that. If you read some of the infidelity stories online, you'll see this is par for the course. The waywards are always either master compartmentalizers, or they're the protagonist of their adventure with everyone else just an insignificant side character. Anyway, I hope you can pull off complete radio silence. Do ask your attorney. It differs by state, but I definitely know in some states you would never have to see or talk to her again to complete the divorce. I am proud of you. You have already come so far since we communicated the first night you posted. I also live in North Carolina and am not sure which part of the state you are in now. But there is enough in this state that you could move to another part, be far enough away to avoid contact, have a new environment and still be within easy travel time to visit your folks. The comments about ghosting your STBXW and former friend are exactly right. They served your closure to you in a cruel and premeditated way and deserve absolutely nothing from you but contempt. Any talk or contact will only be another cruel and self-serving act by your STBXW that will set you back. If you are approached by a third party with a message from either of them, do not even respond to the person telling you and change the subject without acknowledging what was said. This is not just for spite, it is essential for you to heal. The separation papers can be signed by her, notarized and returned by mail to your attorney. After 12 months, a judge will sign them and you will be mailed a copy of the final/absolute divorce decree. If she has any issues, she can address them with your attorney. Stay resolved and continue to focus on your well-being. Keep us posted and reach out anytime you feel you need some moral support. Best wishes. Did you out her cheating to friends and family? She'll likely paint this new romance as something that just happened after you two broke up. Cheaters do not deserve to preserve their reputation. They need to live the consequences of their actions. Best of luck in your healing, mate. When I caught my ex cheating, her reputation was her primary concern. Not my problem. If you want a good reputation, be a good person. That's the first thing I did when I found out. Showed the receipts to any and everyone. Friends, family, his co-workers. He got mad and called me immature. Told him it was too bad. He should have thought about that before he decided to lie to my face and act like a dog. Not my problem, woman shrugging. It's always about them and their reputation. Duck them. Cheaters can't seem to comprehend that actions have consequences. Why are you trying to deny my happiness? Sure, I may have emotionally devastated you in a way that may never heal, but everything is about me. Actually, they do. It's just that the perception people have of them means more than the reality of who they are. My older kid's mom was like that. She screwed other guys while expecting me to always be the rebound when the newest flavor of the month didn't work out. I said deuces to that and married my friend who I've known since I was 12. We have a daughter and even my oldest admits that her stepmother is a better mother to her than her actual mother. And like with me, my daughter tells me of how when there's people around, she's mom of the year and when they're gone, not so much. Perception versus reality. I didn't bother with friends that weren't mutual friends. Our mutual friends all know. Once I decided to divorce her, I sent my in-laws a nice email thanking them for always treating me like a son and telling them why our relationship was ending. The in-laws have any reaction to their daughter's infidelity? They responded but didn't say anything about that part of my message. The response was basically, "We hate that this is happening and we'll miss you." I don't think less of them for it. I get it. That's their daughter, and she'll always be their daughter. I was profoundly affected by your post and update. I am deeply disturbed to find that two people apparently of good character could inflict such pain on someone they profess to care for and love. This posting gave me a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach. So, I cannot imagine the pain that you have had to endure. One part of the story that I found very disturbing was that she went out of her way to inform you that they were trying to get pregnant. To me this indicates one of two things: she is entirely unfeeling, or they did in fact have sex before the breakup and she is trying to cover bases. In either case, this is not a kind person. I have little in the way of advice or comfort that I can offer. I will say that a mental trick I have used when I am confronted with evil people is to tell myself that I can go home at night with myself and know that I am a good man and have behaved ethically. Unfortunately for them, at the end of the day they are stuck with themselves and the evil that they perpetrated on another human being. I do not know about karma, but, in my 75 years of life, I have observed that people eventually must live with the consequences of their actions. I do not need to be there to see it. I am simply confident that it will come to pass. If there is any revenge to be had, it is for you to move ahead and live a good life. Since I read your original post, I have checked for updates almost daily. I would appreciate an update on how you are progressing on this journey, and I wish you a good life. I appreciate your comment. There's a lot of wisdom in it. A lot has been happening, but I'm not ready to talk about it right now. I know that's not much of an update, but I will try to update when things are in a better place. I just don't know when that will be. I do not know what to say. The pain you must feel. The fact that this does not end. Every morning waking up to yet more of what you are going through. I also went through cheating. Although not at the insane level that you are experiencing. But there is hope, brother. After my lesson in life, I hit the dumps. I lost faith in humanity and human interaction. And then it happened. I met my wife. I have been married for 18 years with 3 daughters. This happened at the age of 26. I never spoke while I was dating my wife about the deceit of the cheating that happened in my previous relationship. 2 weeks before asking her to marry me, I told her all. I wanted to start anew. But I also wanted to be truthful about my trust issues. My wife listened and said it would be fine. We got married. In the 18 years that followed, she phoned even if she was minutes late. She always gives me her phone to fix something. She doesn't know her passwords. I keep them in a book. This used to irritate me a lot. I once jokingly mentioned this thing of me having to keep her passwords on all our devices. Later in the day I ended up next to my dad. And he said to me he is pleased with me and my marriage. Generally how things turned out. I again said if I can now only get her to remember her passwords. My dad looked at me and said, "Do you think she does not want to keep her passwords? She can. My wife has a master's degree. She is clever." I asked my dad what he meant. He said it is her way of keeping everything open. Knowing where I came from. When I look back I can see how she bent backwards to heal a wound she did not create. I spoke to her about it after. She just looked at me and said she wanted me to be happy. It took me 18 years to learn what real love is, brother. Only the shoe knows of the hole in the sock. It covers the hole to protect the foot. In short, remember 2 things. These 2 people do not treat you with love. Love embraces and nurtures. It bends backwards for years to treat wounds not inflicted. Stay no contact. And move on out of this hole. Point 2. Not all women are like this woman who deceived you. There are women out there that are so wonderful. That when you compare them, Your soon-to-be ex will never even reach the start of the measuring point. Take care and build yourself. My previous relationship, I must say, helped me to strengthen my marriage. If I have a problem now, and you will in any marriage, I just look back and recommit to the life I have now. Talk about what is happening. Do not crop it up. Seek help if need be. Life does get better, but that is your choice. Life gave you lemons. That's the base. You now get to add sugar and determine the taste. Don't sit. Start now. That's an awesome wife. Yes, she does that and more. I have to work at nights. No matter what time I get in, there is a cooked meal in the microwave. I just need to hit the reheat button. When I take my first bite, she normally sat next to me, wanting to hear how my day was. I really feel for this op. But there is better out there. If someone you married can leave you after only 4 to 5 visits with a friend, something is wrong. I remember him writing he wants to leave. Start somewhere else. If you start running, where do you stop? The pain and feelings of dread do stop. That heavy feeling subsides. And you start noticing blossoms and you start seeing people passing you in the street again. Stay where you are. Do you? The few friends who condone their actions, let them go. Fade into memory. And then one day you come out of church. And the next minute a vision comes out of the church wearing a dark green dress. And when she walked into the sunshine, the rays gently play in her auburn hair, turning her hair into fire. And then you realize, to truly appreciate the oasis you first need to stumble through the desert. I did meet up with the cheater I was involved with 10 years later. I did not feel a thing. She was flustered and irritated. She wanted to say something about what happened. I stopped her. Informed her I am married. This with 3 daughters. What it was she wanted to say does not matter. I turned and walked away. I later heard she took a transfer to another town. Every 2 years she goes through this same motion. Get in a relationship. Fall in love. Fall out of love. New cycle. It never stops. Get out. Get help. Don't uproot yourself. Take your time. Heal. Try again. Hope the op is as lucky as me. But you have to take that leap. First post on Reddit disclaimer. Just wanted to offer my condolences to you and a few pieces of advice. Your story really brought me back to my life 15 years ago. Our stories are very similar and I won't share those differences, unless you ask, because this message is for you, not me. What I will share is some good news. I know those feelings/emotions you are having right now. You can't breathe, you can't sleep, your view on life seems over. Here's what I learned through my valley. Life won't be the same, but let me tell you the great news. Once you suffer through this period, which seems never ending, the other side is so wonderful. You are going to go through a grieving process right now which is similar to a death, like losing a loved one, which you have. Nothing makes sense, you question everything. How could she have done this? She never really loved me. All of these float through your mind on a loop. You will, at some point, exit this loop. Here's one thing I want you to remember. This sage advice was told to me by my counselor years ago. And for some reason, this one thing stuck with me during my ordeal. Your soon-to-be ex-wife will never exit this period of her life. You on the other hand will. Because of how she chose to act and how she chose to betray you, she won't exit this loop. Fast forward 10 years from now, when her very imperfect life is grinding away, you will be on her mind. How she betrayed you, how she really screwed up. It will never leave her. Even if she and your former best friend break up and she finds a new man and all is great, at some point their relationship, like all, will hit a wall. When that happens, you will pop into her mind, always. After leaving me, my ex-wife was very successful, financially, in work. But about 6 to 9 months later, she wanted to meet. She wanted to reconcile. But I had just exited the loop and was done grieving. I said no. I wasn't angry anymore, I wasn't sad. I was done emotionally. I moved on. Fast forward another year and my life as a single guy was great. I had focused on improving my life each day, much like what you are doing: fitness, reading, traveling. Out of nowhere, bam! I met someone. Wasn't even looking for it. My ex-wife every once in a while still tries to contact me. She asks mutual friends about me. She got married and divorced again. She can't keep a relationship. She's still in that loop. I don't say that with pride anymore. It's actually very sad for her. My wonderful life is a testimony to her. Don't limit your suffering right now. Don't minimize what you are going through. Have many successes each day. Focus on improving yourself a little here and a little there. You can and will get through this. On the other hand, the flowers are very bright, I promise. I had not heard it framed like that, but I hope you are right. I feel like the loop will never end. I have been reading some stories here of other guys whose spouses left them, and many don't seem to ever move on even years later. It scares me because that could be anyone. First, don't beat yourself up too bad right now. You're still very close in time to this explosion. It would be impossible for you to see a way to a clearing right now. There's way too much pain. I know. Let me say, I do believe staying stuck in that loop is possible. That is a warning. What will lead you out of it is a series of very small victories. Those victories involve bettering yourself each day. For me, fitness was a big part of that. I was fit when she left, but I dedicated myself each day to physical punishment, and that new way of working out brought my appetite back. And I chose to eat healthy. Then I began making plans to go out and visit family or other friends. As I remember it, sometimes I didn't even want to go, but I forced myself. That's huge. Make yourself get out. I basically had to redo the new single me. Please keep in mind this isn't possible overnight. My problem back then was I didn't want to be single. I wanted her, even though I was very hurt. But the small victories, they were there. Set small goals. Within 6 months my ex and I were well on our way to divorce. I was doing much better, and I met a woman, a hot woman, and man, my ego exploded. She made me realize what a catch I was and what an idiot my ex was for leaving me, and for leaving me the way she had. Myself and this young lady didn't last but a few months, mainly because I wasn't ready for anything serious, but I was on the track to recovery. Set goals and push yourself. Set a goal to do something different, something fun. Maybe join a group that does some event, like a running group or dodgeball. Learn to sail. Just ideas. It's very easy to get down if you allow yourself to crawl into a ball and freeze. Do not fall into the trap. You are a human and you deserve much more out of life. Work yourself towards that life well lived, and I promise you, it will get better. This guy gets it. I've been both ways. The first time, I wallowed in the loop, playing pick me, and not being rational. It took me 2 years to fall out of the loop. The second time, I was wiser and forced myself out of the loop. The second time, I met my current wife 3 months after my ex walked out. We've known each other for 17 years and been married for 14. I wasn't looking either. I just ran into her at a friend's house because I was forcing myself to socialize. She is way younger than I am, was simply stunning then and still is today, and she is fiercely loyal. It is possible to recover and live the kind of life that will make your ex regret her choices. In fact, it is easy if you just attack your goals daily. Oh, and by the way, my ex is still stuck in the loop too. She has dated some, but never found anyone to put a ring on it. I pity her, and in a way I have forgiven her, but I will never forget what she did to me. That's why therapy is so important. So, I just read this after reading the initial post. I can honestly say, after reading this sub for years, I guess, your story made me feel more seething anger than any other story I have read on here. For some reason, especially for your best friend, X. That's the worst. Absolutely disgusting. I'm furious right now. Keep me updated. I need to know you found a good woman. I need to know you ended up alright. I don't know if I will ever date again. I would never want to go through something like this again. Your friend needs his ass beat for real. That's what I was thinking. You're a better person than me and you should be commended for how you're handling this betrayal. Pay her dust and do your best to find happiness. Maybe. But I won't be the one to do it. From what I can tell, you are in love with how she is projecting herself, not with the person she actually is. Kindness and warmth, the things that made you fall even deeper in love with her, can sadly be projected as easy as pre-recording a movie and projecting it onto a white wall. It is like fulfilling a role that she picked out for herself. Is a kind person going to do what she did to you? No, both her and your ex-friend are incredibly selfish. They screwed you over big time for their own narcissistic wants. And I doubt it will even last any meaningful time. Currently she is too deep into the role she assumed when she started helping your ex-friend out of his depression. But what happens in a few years, or even months, where the glamour settles? That's his concern though, not yours. Given the situation, I think you are doing your best fighting all those controversial emotions. Don't ever become like them, we need more good people in this wretched human world. That's a fair point. My image of her and the real person aren't the same thing. It's still hard for me to accept that because it felt so real to me. Your ex-best friend will never trust her 100%. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And your F will always be that kind of person who betrays his best friend. It won't be good for their foundation of the relationship. Give it a few months or years, it will not work out for them. I hope someday he has to wonder if she's being faithful to him. I doubt he'll ever experience the same type of betrayal, but I hope he at least gets to experience part of it. He will always wonder, and he's just as likely to cheat on her once the shiny wears off. I'm willing to bet you're going to get a phone call from an unknown number in 6 to 12 months. I made a big mistake, he's cheating on me. It makes me feel like a bad person to wish for that, but I do. My fear is that instead they'll live happily ever after and will never experience any real consequences for what they did. I think that is more likely, but I'm so pessimistic about my life now that I may be overly negative. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.